Feminism. Do we still need it today? But before we talk about feminism, we need to understand the word first, the meaning behind it. Theory of the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes. Organized activity on behalf of women's rights and interests.
To me, means like how much you value women's opinion, women's right, and I think it doesn't really matter whether it's men or women.
Overly strong women, overly opinionated women. I guess that has a negative connotation for me.
For you?
Nagging.
Feminism, I would think, would be the idea that women are actually people as well and that they should have the same rights and abilities and chances that everyone does.
Yeah, women can do anything men can do. There's no difference based on gender.
Honestly, I think of man-haters, equal rights, but it's someone that's angry.
As you saw from those clips, everyone has a different opinion on what feminism is. No two people can really agree on a definition. And just like anything, there are negative connotations surrounding this movement. But how couldn't there be negative connotations when they do stuff like this?
So listen up, grown-ups. Here's some words more fucked up than the word fuck. Pay inequality. Women are paid 23% less than men for the exact same fucking work. And women who graduate university with straight A's get paid as much as men who only got C's. So bad grades equal more bank. Just because you're a boy? Hello and hell no. Pay up, motherfucker. I shouldn't need a penis to get paid.
Although everything they're saying in the video is absolutely correct, we really have to go this far to prove a point, using little girls to say the word fuck? I know why they're doing this, to get a rise out of people, to get people's attention. The clip you just saw was from fuckhate.com, and as you can imagine, it had huge uproar when it first came out. So here's an interview with the director of the video defending the controversial campaign.
And director of the video, Luke Montgomery. And Luke, right off the bat, how did you come up with this concept? And you had to know that people were going to be upset when they heard it.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole idea was using a bad word for a good cause to get people's attention. A lot of people are focusing on that we use the F word in this video, which is the reason we did use the F word is because we want people to focus on statistics like 1 out of 5 women will be raped or sexually assaulted in their lifetime. Or the fact that women and men doing the exact same job, the woman gets paid 23% less than men. And in 2014, that's what's shocking, not the F word.
It's a great message. I am a mother of 2 young girls.
Right.
I was shocked by the video. Cage, I want to ask you, do you even understand what you're saying in the video? Do you realize the weight of what you're saying?
Yeah.
You understand what you're talking about, and did you know those curse words? Did you?
Yeah.
What was the most fun part of it for you?
Saying the lines and for a good cause.
Okay.
Okay, and everybody is very opinionated about this video. On Fox News' The Five, they even suggested that this could be child abuse. What's your response to that?
Child abuse to me is rape. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that child abuse is standing by and letting our society pay women 23% less than men, allow A student girls to make as much as C student men. I mean, that's an outrage. To me, that is child abuse. And I'm glad that this, as a director and as a writer, what I set out to do with this was to start a conversation. And that conversation is happening all over the place on Twitter, Facebook. Millions of people are discussing this that weren't discussing it 2 days ago.
The first wave of feminism took place in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, emerging out from the environment of urban industrialism and liberal socialist politics. The goal of this wave was to open up opportunities for women with a focus on suffrage. The wave formally began at the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, when 300 men and women rallied to the cause of equality for women. In its early stages, feminism was interrelated with the temperance and abolitionist movements and gave voice to now famous activists like the African-American Sojourner Truth, who demanded, "Ain't I a woman?" Discussions about the vote and women's participation in politics led to an examination of differences between men and women, as they were both then viewed. Some claimed that women were morally superior to men, and so their presence in the civic sphere would improve public behavior and the political process. Although women had achieved the right to vote and had conquered most rights in the legal world, they were still treated as objects in the home and in their personal lives. During World War II, women were forced to work in jobs related to the war, as their husbands and sons were off fighting in the war. They were finally given some responsibility in the workforce, doing jobs that required physical strength and skill. This all led to the production of Rosie the Riveter, the cartoon that characterized what the average working woman looked like during World War II. Although this employment of women would be temporary as it was all war-related, the image and the idea of Rosie the Riveter would live on to inspire the second wave of feminism. After World War II, there was a massive increase in the production of household technology, and women were forced out of the jobs and pushed back into the bubble of their home. It is in the home where women were pushed to fulfill the stereotype of a housewife and the nuclear family, things that made women more like objects than individuals. In this phase, sexuality and reproductive rights were dominant issues, and much of the movement's energy was focused on passing the Equal Rights Amendment to the Constitution, guaranteeing social equality regardless of sex. The sexual revolution accomplished many things from the 1960s to the 80s. In 1960, the Food and Drug Administration approves birth control pills. In 1966, the National Organization for Women, NOW, is founded by a group of feminists including Betty Friedan, the largest women's rights group in the U.S. NOW seeks to end sexual discrimination, especially in the workplace, by means of legislative lobbying, litigation, and public demonstrations. In 1970, Schultz versus Wheat and Glass Company, a U.S. Court of Appeals rules that jobs held by men and women need to be subsequently equal but not identical to fall under the protection of the Equal Pay Act. An employer cannot, for example, change the job titles of women workers in order to pay them less than men. June 23, 1972, Title IX of the Education Amendments bans sex discrimination in schools. It states, "No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal financial assistance." As a result of Title IX, the enrollment of women in athletics programs and professional schools increases dramatically. In 1973, as a result of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court establishes a woman's right to safe and legal abortion, overriding the anti-abortion laws of many states. In 1978, the Pregnancy Discrimination Act bans employment discrimination against pregnant women. Under the act, a woman cannot be fired or denied a job or a promotion because she is or may become pregnant, nor can she be forced to take a pregnancy leave if she is willing and able to work. Feminism starts in waves. The first wave started from the 19th century, ongoing to the 20th century. The second wave started from the 60s to the 90s, and the third wave started in the 90s and is still currently going on. The movement arose partially as a response to the perceived failures of and backlash against initiatives and movements created by second wave feminism during the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, and the perception that women are of many colors, ethnicities, nationalities, religions, and cultural backgrounds. As political and economic equality has been granted to women in most parts of the Western world, third-wave feminists have broadened their goals, focusing on ideas like queer theory, abolishing gender role expectations and stereotypes, and defending sex work, pornography, reproductive rights, and sex positivity. Feminism had many positive effects over time. It gave us the right to vote. It changed this from this. Feminism also triggered the FBI to change the definition of rape to include men. The definition of rape by the FBI was almost as old as the horse and buggy. Linda Sanchez, Democrat of Orange County, California, becomes the first unwed mother to serve in Congress. Up until 1978, women were fired from their jobs if they got pregnant. Up until Title IX, enacted in 1972, women's education would still be substandard and designed to make us economically and intellectually impotent. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, an achievement of the civil rights movement begun in the mid-1950s, was also an early success for the feminist movement. Title VII, the act of prohibited employers from discrimination on the basis of gender as well as race, color, religion, or national origin. January 2013, Defense Secretary Leon Panetta announced that the ban on women serving in combat roles would be lifted. The move reverses the 1994 rule that prohibited women from serving in combat. The change will be gradual, but positions will be available to women immediately, but each branch of the military has until 2016 to request exceptions to the new rule. It's hard to deny that feminism does not exist by the evidence of inequalities between men and women. However, there is a growing number of people who believe that we don't need feminism today. So where do you fall on this spectrum?